We'll do it live. We'll do it live. So anyway, I just woke up this morning to find out that YouTube has removed some of my content, which is a shame. It's difficult to do content that actually is meaningful on YouTube or anywhere that's on the internet, because the people who run the internet don't really want people saying things. They just want you to say something that's going to attract attention, and so that they can make money. So you can't actually talk about what's really happening in the world, in politics, and religion. And if you do, you have to go according to a certain code of a religious political order that's based in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. I believe YouTube is based in San Francisco. But the only way you can understand our situation in America, because I'm an American citizen, I'm having my communications cut by a corporation based in San Francisco, which is supposed to be under U.S. law. And U.S. law says that you have this thing called free speech, right? And, if we had a government, because you could say, it's a private company. Not really. It's not really. It's not really a private company. It's a company that is completely run by and through and in coordination with U.S. intelligence services. So it's not a private company. It's just not. It's not like it's your private thing between you and your friend. No, it's not. It's a public company operating in the United States of America, which means they like the benefit of being around the U.S. government and around the American people, but then they want to go against the entire premise of America, which is free speech. Free speech, speaking your conscience, the logos. So they don't have the logos, but it's interesting because I'm sure they don't, because I'm looking at what they said, and it doesn't really make sense what they said. So the video that they are claiming they had to take down, it just couldn't stay up, was the one I made about Jimmy Dore blaming Hitler for the rampage against the people in Gaza, and how the left blames Hitler. Now, I bet you that the video of them blaming Hitler for what the Jews are doing with the extermination campaign in Gaza that they were carrying out, I bet that's still up on Jimmy Dore's on his channel. That can stay up. So that's the weird thing about it. It's obviously a political, ideological dispute. So they took it down, and they're saying that so what are they claiming that I did wrong? What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. But let's see what their claim is. I just looked. It says review an issue, and the video was Jimmy Dore and Company blames Hitler for Jewish Gaza rampage. Right. I was explaining how the left media, the communist media, always blame Hitler for what the Jews are doing in Gaza, and how Hitler has nothing to do with it. Now they say so YouTube says take a look at your content and our policies. Here's an example of how your content didn't follow community guidelines, but make sure you follow all policies. Okay, so now it says that I said something at number 612. Hate speech policy at 6 minutes and 12 seconds in, and it says content that promotes hateful supremacism by alleging the superiority of a group over those with protected group status to justify violence. Did I do that? Absolutely not. I never justified violence against anybody on YouTube. This is such bullshit. It's so fake, dude. It's just that they don't like my opinion. That's all it is. And so this is what I've been saying the whole time. These people are so weird. When they don't like your opinion about something, they claim that you're violent. It's just not true. It's just not true. And it'll never be true. But it's crazy. And it's crazy that they have this much power over society. It's totally insane that they have this much power. Because listen, I know. Hopefully, you had a chance to watch that video because it just got removed. But it says here, and I don't know that I'm even going to be able to watch this because I can't see it. Okay, let's see if I can hear what they're claiming I said. I don't believe it, dude. Okay, they're saying that, first of all, why is there such a thing as a protected group status? Protected group status. I don't have protected group status. Who has protected group status? And that's number one. Why is there special groups that they have special protections, right? That the rest of us don't get. That's number one. And where did these special protections come from? Did they come from Washington, D.C.? I think they did. So I think this is based on U.S. Washington, D.C. law. But see, if you notice, how are we all quoting, like their cult is the cult of equality. We are all equal, but some animals are more equal than others, just like in George Orwell's book, Animal Farm, which is about communism. Some animals are more equal. Some animals are more equal than the other animals. You see? So some groups have special protected status. And who are those people? I don't even know. I'm assuming I do know. I assume that the special protected groups, that they have special protections that you don't have and that I don't have. Against what? Criticism? I don't know. But I'm guessing that those groups are homosexuals, Jews, and I don't know. Those are the two groups that I'm thinking that those are the two primary groups that get special protection status from the U.S. government. I believe it's Jews and homosexuals. And if you notice, there's a lot of Jewish people running, particularly under Biden, same with Trump. But I like the Jews that work with Trump. I mean, I like Steve Miller. I was very critical of Howard Lutnick, but he seems to be doing a good job. I can't criticize him too much. But I don't criticize people just because they're Jewish. I criticize the mafia. I see there's a thing called the mafia, and it's based on ethnicity and race. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. So now, but here's the thing. So there's a certain mafia ethnicity you're not allowed to criticize. You can talk about, I guess, the Mexican mafia or the Chinese mafia or these other mafias. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is that way. And it all goes back to the U.S. government making up laws that protect certain people. Now, notice there's a lot of homosexuals in the U.S. government and running corporations tied to the U.S. government, right? Tons of them. And they're abducting children and they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And that's true. I mean, is that what they're claiming? I don't know. Let's see if I can hear what they're claiming I said. It says hate speech policy at 6 minutes and 12 seconds in. Okay, so it's claiming here that I violated this by content that promotes hateful supremacism by alleging the superiority of a group over those with protected group status to justify. But none of that even happened. None of that happened. None of that happened. Okay, Okay, it says we review educational, documentary, artistic, and scientific content on a case-by-case basis. Limited exceptions are made for content with sufficient and appropriate context. Right, and I always actually try to see. I always have that in the back of my mind when I'm making these videos. That you can talk about things in the correct context. And you can say things as long as you frame it correctly. And that is important. But the thing is, I'm not out to. I'm obviously not out to cause violence. My whole thing is I'm trying to end war and end conflict between the races. And I'm talking freely and openly about things that are happening because they're happening and it's real. It's called real life. It's called I'm talking about things that happen in real life. And that's what they don't like. That's the weird thing about about the communications control by the groups that control our government and the media and stuff. It's just that they don't want you saying what's happening. And it goes back to the logos. They want you to shut your mind down. They want you to shut off the logos. They want you to cut down. They want you to shut down your intellect. They don't like the intellect. The main enemy of this policy of YouTube, which really originates with the US government, is the intellect. You're just not supposed to be intelligent. You're supposed to be stupid. I think that's what it boils down to. It's a war on the logos. It's a war on the logos. They want to kill the logos. They want to kill the logos. That's what they want to do. They want to kill the logos. I assume. What else are they doing? It's the intellect. The problem with me is I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm just not. And I'm not willing to shut my mind down and become stupid and pretend that things are the way that, I'm not buying into somebody's delusion. The US government has been selling delusion, and the European Union. These people associated with the US government have been selling delusion for centuries now. Delusion, just totally delusional, idiotic things, stories, just made up crazy stories for centuries. And I'm just not stupid enough to believe them. That's my problem. And so it's not okay. So, and as I talk about these things, that's the threat. The threat is the threat of the logos. It's the threat of the intellect. That's the thing they hate. That's the thing that they really can't stand. And so let me see if I can find out what they're claiming that I said. If I can even hear this. Oh, I got my volume way up. I hope this isn't too scratchy. Let's hear what I said.
Access to clean water. No, they did not. The Germans didn't do that. I mean, I know everybody just assumes that everything that the Germans did was wrong because somebody told you that. Gee, I wonder who told you that. But I mean, I'm not an idiot, okay?
This is what I was saying that they're claiming with hate speech. This doesn't even make any sense. This doesn't see. You got to understand. It's not that what I was saying was hate speech, or this is the weird thing about this subject, right? With regard to World War II and the Germans, it's just like they say here in this thing. It says content that promotes hateful supremacism by alleging the superiority of a group over those with protected status to justify violence, discrimination, segregation, or exclusion isn't allowed on YouTube. I didn't do that. And the thing is, it doesn't. They know I didn't do that, but no, they don't. It's almost like they don't have the logos. They don't have the. There's something about shutting down your intellect in order to carry out an agenda. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. This is so weird. It's just so weird. It's just so. Let's see if there's nothing in what I'm saying. I'm saying when in this other video that I made is about Jimmy Dore. It's about how the left constantly claims that what the Jews are doing in their genocidal extermination campaign against the people in Gaza, that's what Hitler did. And I'm just saying, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with Hitler did. And the things that they're claiming are just never even happened. The things that they're claiming, so the Jews are at war with the people in Gaza and they're just wiping them out, right? And then they're saying that that's what the Germans did. And it's not. The Germans didn't do those things. That's what I'm saying. They didn't do those things. And so just because I say no, they didn't do that. I don't believe they did that. I know they didn't do that. It's just idiotic. The claim that they did that is so dumb. And so now that makes me bad because my mind is working. See, my intellect is working. And I'm saying that what you're saying is stupid. And then and so because I don't believe it, they're saying I'm hateful and justifying violence. None of that's true. If you've watched my videos, every video I've made, other than I think with regard to people that sell heroin, I think the only people I've ever called for violence on this channel for was people that sell heroin and meth, and maybe people that abuse children. I think that's it. I think that's the only thing that I've ever called for actual violence for. And I think I don't even know that I did that, because I don't think I did. But I think I thought that maybe while I was making the video. This is the crazy thing about these people. This is so nuts, dude. It's so crazy. This is so crazy. Okay, let's listen to some more here. What is it? What are they claiming that I said?
I know what happened during World War II because I'm not stupid. Okay.
Mhm.
And so I know that the Germans didn't destroy the infrastructure of places where Jews were living.
No, that's true. So Jews were living in Germany and on certain streets in certain areas. And when they were living there, the Germans didn't go in during the period of time where Hitler and the National Socialists were in charge. The Germans didn't find a Jewish area where Jewish people were living inside Germany, right? They didn't go in there and just start exterminating people and bombing them, and none of that happened. You gotta understand, when Hitler was the ruler or chancellor, whatever it was in Germany, they did have a policy because they were having trouble with Jews in New York, and they were having disputes, right? And so there was a night of broken glass. That was one night, and then Hitler put a stop to that. But that was just the people in the street. They were upset because the Jews were blocking German goods. See, it's this complex political situation. And we have violence in America. We have people destroying Teslas right now, right? It's kind of the same shit, right? It's just people that are out of control or that are part of some faction of the government. They're doing some crime, right? But then the government is supposed to step in and put an end to that. Anyway, you can't even talk about this stuff because these people don't have the logos. They don't have reason. They don't have the intellect. They're at war with the intellect. They just want you to be stupid and just believe their stupid narrative. But no, the Germans did not find a Jewish settlement and then send in tanks and people with machine guns or blow up their water supply. And you know what I mean? That didn't happen. The German army invaded France and invaded Poland and grabbed, I don't even like to call it an invasion of Austria because those are all Germans down there. They wanted to be part of Germany. So they didn't really invade. They just kind of drove in and everyone cheered, right? I mean, this is just history. And I'm sorry for being fucking not an idiot. Okay, I'm sorry because I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm not an idiot. What do you want me to do? So I'm not allowed to talk. Only idiots are allowed to talk. And that's true. I mean, if you watch the media for the last 100 years in America, only idiots are allowed to talk. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. The smart people always get shut down and closed off, and nobody hears from them again. And that's part of why the society fails, because everyone's so fucking stupid. Because they don't let any smart people talk. You go to the universities, it's loaded with people who are mentally deficient. Like if I walked around, I don't have a phone that can videotape, but I wish I did. I would go to the colleges and ask people just simple questions, and you would just see I could go to any professor, and I would do it. I would do it in a tricky way. I would ask them questions that I know that they're going to give the brainwashed response to, because I already know what they've been brainwashed to believe on a multitude of subjects. You could just walk around and go, and I could tell you beforehand what they're going to say. Like, I'm going to ask them this question, they're going to repeat this answer, because that's the one that's been programmed them into the schools or into the media for decades. And I know what these questions and answers are. In other words, these people are under mind control. They don't have the intellect in many cases. And the smart people are always, it's sad, because how can you have a civilization that's just all run by stupid people? How does that end up? Go to your local big city, and that's the answer. Why is your city filled with people who are homeless and on drugs and perverted and criminal and dying? That's why. Because of shit like this. Anyway, listen. I want to see what are they saying that. Look, Okay, they said I have a hate speech. I violated hate speech, that I promoted hateful supremacism by alleging the superiority of a group over those with protected status to justify violence, discrimination, segregation, or exclusion.
They didn't destroy any infrastructure. They didn't destroy any medical facilities. They didn't destroy any of the water supply.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't destroy the sanitation supply. So there's number one of no, you're fucking wrong. Sorry for the F. Sorry.
That's true. I mean, it's just like, hello, what planet do we live on? Do you know anything about the timeline of events during the National Socialist government that led to World War II? See, that's the thing. Just, it's like people just start. Here's what I guess happened. People got so brainwashed by images of horror. See, I invented this term, and I bet people at YouTube even use it. And it's called trauma-based mind control. I coined that phrase, trauma-based mind control. It's a common phrase. Look it up. And then look up the first time it was ever used. And I guarantee, you won't find my first use of it, because my first use of it would probably be on Facebook or some other video or somewhere else, or content boards that I started using this term, right? Now, I didn't make up the premise of trauma-based mind control. I just coined that phrase into 3 words that people can easily comprehend the entire operation. So there's 3 words: trauma-based mind control, or 4 words, sorry. I coined that phrase so that people would have a very simplified phrase that explains exactly what's happening. Now, there's other people that have developed a whole science of how that happens and how it works, and they know how. You know what I mean? I didn't do all that. I'm just saying I invented 4 words that go together. And because this doesn't even make any sense. If you listen to what I'm saying, it doesn't make any sense that they would even say this. They just have, it's got to be just the ADL that goes around and shuts everybody down. And the ADL is a dark aged cult. It's a dark age. In other words, the dark ages are it's about ignorance, about keeping people stupid. It's the dark ages. They said, you have the Enlightenment age, which was like, they call the Enlightenment age was the time of, the time of the, like the Freemason Rosicrucian system. That was like the age of enlightenment. And then you have the dark ages. Well, see, the dark ages are about keeping everyone stupid. And I think that's what this, let's listen.
Sorry for the F. I'm not going to use big F's. I promise.
The use of sanitation, including access to clean water.
No, the Germans didn't do that. Let's go on to the next one.
Block shipments of food and fuel.
Did the Germans block shipments of food and fuel? No, they did not.
Right. So this is the thing is, so they're saying, what you can hear me saying in there, right? They're saying that this promotes hateful supremacism by alleging the superiority of a group over those with protected status to justify violence. That doesn't even make any sense. When do I ever when on this show do I ever justify violence against anyone? Never. As far as I can tell, the only people I've alluded to violence, and I always think I said that the U.S. Marines or the U.S. Marshals or the police should do it, was against meth dealers and heroin traffickers. I think that's it. I really think that's all. Those are the only people I've ever said that is justified violence. I'm pretty sure, and I may not have even said it. I think I may have thought it. Those are the only people I can like when I think of people that I want violence towards. The only people I can think of that I would actually see. This doesn't even make any sense. Look, okay, if you're selling heroin and you live in my neighborhood, or you're selling crystal meth and you live, because I really hate people that sell crystal meth. Like if you're dealing crystal meth and there were no police, okay, there's no way you're going to get away with that. If I can't be arrested, right? If there's no, let's say we live in a, let's just for example, let's say, just as an example, that there's no way I can be charged with a crime, and you're a crystal meth dealer, right? This is the only type of, this is the only thing that really makes me want to, or think about violence. That or people who abuse children. Those are the only two things. If you're talking about men who are involved, like organizing the abuse of children, that happens in America, and it's becoming like mainstream, right? That makes me want to kill. Okay, and but I don't, because it's illegal. But if you're abusing children, I mean, yeah, like that would make that's like a primal feeling of protecting a child, right? A helpless child that can't protect itself. I think that would be justified, but it's not according to the law. And then the other thing I can think of is people who sell drugs, like meth, like hardcore drugs. Like, you sell marijuana, you shouldn't do that. I think you should be arrested, actually. I think you should be arrested and put in some kind of a rehabilitation camp, a work camp, if you sell marijuana. If you sell crystal meth, you've gone way too far. And those people, I think those are the only categories I've ever even considered a violent response to. Nothing else. And the idea that I ever did or would is just so stupid. It's just so stupid, because that's not what I've been. Anyway, listen. They're saying that's what they're saying. Listen.
The Germans did not block shipments of food and fuel for the Jews ever.
I'm pretty sure that's true. And I explained what I was talking about. First of all, when they were living in the ghettos, I don't know that they blocked food or fuel. And when they were living in when they had them in the camps, they brought them food and fuel. So I don't even know what this is. This doesn't even make sense.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, but I saw the pictures of Jewish people that were starving to death in the concentration camps.
Right. Does this sound like right? So this is me taking points from the Holocaust people, and they have their narrative and they have their story. And this is me countering it with what I believe. Oh, that's against the rules, Brian. You're calling for violence against a protected group. Oh, how come I don't have protections, you fucking asshole? How come I don't have protections? Why do we have a special group with protections? Oh, because they were subjected to violence. Everybody is on the fucking earth, dummy. You fucking asshole. Tell that to all the people that were killed all over the earth by people just like the ones I'm disputing or that you're protecting. Like, none of it makes sense. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating having a functioning intellect. It's so frustrating to have a functioning intellect in a world of dark age cults that run and make the laws and run the media. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. You have to be an idiot. You can't really have an opinion. You just have to be stupid. You can't have, and you don't like you could say, Brian, what you said was wrong because I have this thing here that proves that this did happen. Okay, well then let's talk about it. But we're not allowed to. That's the problem. We're not allowed to talk about it because I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I'm not allowed to dispute what they're saying. And if I do, they're saying that that's calls for violence. That's nuts. See, we're dealing with a weird, satanic, anti-Christ, the logos, anti-logos, anti-intellect, dark age cult. It's a dark age cult. That's the only thing it's a dark age cult. They don't want you to think. They want you to shut the fuck up and believe whatever they say so they can roll right over you and kill you, right? All the stuff they come up with is to justify shutting you up and using violence against you, using police powers against you, using mob violence against you, just like they did to so many people, just like they did to Ernst Sundell when they bombed his house, just like they've thrown all these people in prison for not believing, for having an intellect, for disputing some idea or some story or some narrative. It's crazy. These people are nuts. Here, just listen. Does this sound like hate speech to you?
Yes, you saw those pictures of Jewish and other prisoners, not just Jews, but prisoners of war, way the hell out in Poland. Way.
So here's me just talking about World War II events. But because I don't believe in the cult, I can't talk. I'm not allowed to talk because I don't repeat what the cult says. Yes, we need reparations for all white people killed by Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, we'll start with that. We should have a reparations lobby. If just for fun. If just for fun. And we call for reparations for what happened during the Civil War. I like that idea. We'll have Confederate flags. We'll have Confederate flags waving. And if anyone doesn't like it, they can fuck off. They can just fuck off. So anyway, no one's allowed to think. See, that's the thing. What they want you to do on these media channels is they want you to come up here and shake your ass and act like an idiot and bark like a seal, and then that's how they make money, and that's all they want. If you do anything else, then if you start thinking too much, you're the problem. If you start thinking too much, if your mind is working, if you have the intellect, if you start just questioning things or looking at things or having your own opinion, you're the problem. You're the violent person because your mind is working. See, it's almost like because they've got so many crimes. I think this is how it kind of works. Because they've committed so many crimes that they assume that anyone who can see what's going on would then naturally want to kill them. And that's just not what I'm saying. But I could see that. I could see someone in that frame of mind. Imagine like you've committed some horrible. Imagine you're just committing like really bad crimes. And if anyone finds out about this, they're going to want to kill you, right? Because you've committed so many acts of like severe, like really bad stuff. You've done some really bad shit, right? And so you're walking around thinking, if this guy knows what I did, and if that guy knows what I did, I'm in trouble. I'm going to get beat up. I'm going to get killed, right? Maybe that's how they go. And so they think that anybody whose mind is working is going to hurt them. They think, oh my God, there's a person that can see. There's a person that can think. We've got to put a stop to that person. We've got to stop him from telling others what I did. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Okay, I'm going to play a little more of this video, but you can see it's kind of boring what I was saying now that I'm going back and watching it.
Way far away from Germany, and they were starving.
Yeah.
Now this was after the Germans had lost the war.
Yeah.
Because these pictures were taken for you by the Americans or the Soviets or whoever took the pictures.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any hate speech here. This is just typical ADL mafia bullshit. I mean, this is what they do. It's just what they do. It's a mafia. It's a dark age. It's literally a cult of a dark aged mafia group that got involved in Freemasonry to use it to build up a mafia and then abandon all the principles of whatever. It's really strange because, like, I was reading that thing from about the Illuminati earlier. It was on one of these videos, and it was the video I did called "Communist Bankers and the Secret History of the Republican Party." I was talking about the Illuminati in that, and it struck me that one of the ideals of the Illuminati guys, Adam Weishaupt, was this idea of the sun of reason, that the sun in the sky is like reason. It's like the intellect, right? And that's the thing. Like that's the thing that they say comes from God, which is what the Bible says. That's what King Solomon says. That's what John 1:1 says, that the light of God is the Logos. So it's the same religion, actually. But then they made it into a secret society. I don't know why. Maybe because the Catholic Church was deviating. I don't know. The thing is, however that happened, right? That's not what this is. That's not what the ADL is. So whatever they were, that's not what the European Union. Because the thing is, the intellect. If the intellect is the light, which it is, these people don't want you thinking. So what is this? It's Dark Age. It's a Dark Age cult. So even maybe Adam Weishaupt was a great guy. I don't know. I mean, he seemed a little subversive, but whatever he was or they were, I don't know. I wasn't there, but whatever it was, we don't have anything remotely like an enlightened government with these policies. This is not enlightened. This is dark age shit. This is the ADL and this ADL mafia is dark age. It's about darkness. And if you just look on their website and you just look at the things they promote, it's a dark age cult. I mean, I don't want to go into the stuff they do to children on their own website. On their own website, they literally indoctrinate kids into gay sex like toddlers on their website. The books they sell that are written by actual pedophiles. Like if you look up who the people are that are writing the books and just go look at their faces, they're mentally ill pedophiles, because only a pedophile would write a book like that for a toddler. And that's what the Anti-Defamation League, which is blocking my videos, has on their website. That's what they have on their website. See, I'm the problem because my mind is working. That's the problem. That's the problem. So anyway, with that, I guess I'll end off. I don't have anything else to say. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching my video. Take care.